Good morning everyone and welcome to today's episode of Geordie Day Tripper. That's me, and today I am at Warkworth Beach and I'm going to take a walk along part of the Northumberland coastal path to the beautiful coastal village of Alnmouth, which is on an estuary and has a little bit of spooky history to it as well. So let's get exploring. I started today's walk at Warkworth Dunes car park, which is free to park in and has an amenities block and lots of information about different birds and wildflowers that can be spotted in the salt marshes. The route is very straightforward. Walk towards the sand dunes and then turn left onto St Oswald's Way at the first peg post marked England Coast Path, public footpath, Alnmouth 4.5 miles, and follow the path north. This route is part of the Northumberland Coastal Path, a 62-mile or 100-kilometre walking route stretching from Cresswell in the south to Berwick-upon-Tweed in the north, mostly within an area of outstanding natural beauty. You can also cycle this journey on the Coast and Castle cycle route, and whether walking or cycling, the full loop there and back is approximately 10 miles long. Although the weather isn't great today, this is a canny little day trip for January as it's very low cost. Warkworth Beach itself has a long history as part of a flourishing Northumbrian coastal area, used for centuries as a natural harbour by Anglo-Saxons and their ships called keels, and later as a nearby landing point for goods. On a clear day, unlike today, there are great views over to Coquet Island, a historic monastic site which was given to the monastery at Lindisfarne in 737 AD. The beach is known for its large and historically undeveloped sand dunes and unspoiled, expansive sands. It acts as a tranquil natural setting adjacent to the historic village of Warkworth, which I will visit and cover in a separate video. After about 1 kilometre of walking, the path heads right towards the coast, and if it's low tide, you'll see a rocky outcrop on the beach known as Burling Cars. It's an intertidal reef which features exposed rock, seaweed and World War II coastal defences. Guys, so here I am on St Oswald's Way on the Northumberland coastal path. It's very windy, but it is lovely to get a bit of fresh sea air. Absolutely lush. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Before reaching Alnmouth, we'll first come to a place called Church Hill, sometimes known as the Mound. Keep following the path over the dunes, through a little caravan park, over bridges and past a ruined farm building. This path leads you straight to Church Hill in the distance, but please take care if you're coming, as the salt marshes are really muddy and boggy, especially at this time of year. Follow the path around the bottom of the hill to the left and you'll see the ruin of the old mortuary chapel, and then continue on the path around the chapel up to the top of Church Hill and you'll reach St Cuthbert's Cross. So this here at the bottom of Church Hill is the mortuary chapel. It was built in 1870 as a plan to reopen the cemetery, but I don't think it ever reopened. So now we'll go and have a look on the top of Church Hill at St Cuthbert's Cross. St Cuthbert's Cross is a prominent wooden monument situated on Church Hill overlooking Alnmouth and the River Aln estuary. It marks the historic spot where St Cuthbert is said to have agreed to become the Bishop of Lindisfarne in 684 AD after being petitioned by the king. Following a severe storm on Christmas Eve in 1806 which destroyed the old church on the hill, the River Aln changed its course, isolating this hill from the main village. The estuary itself is a designated site of special scientific interest featuring extensive mudflats, sand dunes and salt marsh that supports diverse wildlife and coastal flora. It is a premier location for bird watching, particularly during autumn and winter, attracting species like curlew, redshank, dunlin and snipe, and is part of the Northumberland Coast National Landscape. From Church Hill, you can walk straight back along Rose Sands and Warkworth Beach back to the car park if you prefer a shorter walk and if it's low tide. But if, like me, you're walking further to visit Alnmouth, just go back on yourself to rejoin the St Oswald's Way coast path and head right towards the main road, following the peg posts in the path north, which will take you to Alnmouth. This is the quickest way to do it as the estuary cannot be crossed. Alnmouth was founded in 1150 by William de Vesci and is a popular but peaceful coastal village with 2 golf courses, including the 4th oldest in England. It has a long history, often being caught in border conflicts, and the layout of the village has hardly changed since medieval times. In the 1700s, trade grew through Alnmouth's port and the Hindmarsh Hall was built as a grain store constructed from local sandstone. The port was a key exporter of grain, coal and salmon and importer of timber, slate and famously guano, also known as bird droppings, from Peru for fertiliser. The port was sadly lost over 200 years ago during the aforementioned storm, but the coming of the railway in the 1840s provided a new focus for the village as a holiday resort. One of Alnmouth's key distinguishing features is the row of pastel-coloured houses known as the Tobermory houses that can be seen from the East Coast main line. Alnmouth is also home to the Friary of St Francis, a group of friars who follow in the footsteps of St Francis of Assisi. Alnmouth Beach is split into 3 sections within Alnmouth Bay, is dog-friendly and is perfect for a family day out. There is something for everyone in Alnmouth, as there's a selection of different coffee shops, pubs, restaurants and gift shops on the high street, and there are a variety of art exhibits on at the Old School Gallery. Hi again guys, now that I'm all fed and watered, let's go and have a little explore around Alnmouth. First stop is the Ferryman's Hut in Alnmouth Harbour, which is the smallest museum in Northumberland, or maybe even the world. Back in the early 1900s, there would be beach huts situated on the remote beach, so the locals needed an easy way over the Aln estuary. A local with a boat offered his services to ferry people across, so petitioned permission from the Duke of Northumberland for his ferrying service. This service continued until the 1960s, when the beach huts were no longer used and demand for the ferry dwindled. However, the history of this service lives on in this tiny museum. It's pretty much just a garden shed and is a squeeze for 2 people to fit in, but it's filled with pictures, trinkets and memorabilia about boating life in Alnmouth and stories of the ferryman and his predecessors. Don't forget to leave a donation in the pot and sign the visitors book. Another very prominent and historical landmark in Alnmouth is the spooky Schooner Hotel, a schooner being a type of old cargo vessel. It's a 17th century coaching inn and Grade 2 listed building, operating for over 400 years as a key stop on the route between Scotland and England. Historic notable visitors include Charles Dickens and King George III. The hotel was once a haven for smugglers and vagabonds, and it's alleged that there was once a secret underground passage for smugglers from the hotel to the beach. The gruesome history of the hotel is well documented, and there's many stories of various massacres, hence why it's known for its hauntings. It has over 60 reported ghosts roaming the rooms and corridors, and has twice been named Britain's most haunted hotel by the Poltergeist Society, having over 3,000 reports of paranormal activity. Hi guys, here we are at the Schooner Hotel, one of the most haunted hotels in the UK. I have actually stayed here before. I stayed with the lasses a few years ago and we did a ghost hunt. I didn't experience any paranormal activity here, even though I wanted to, just for the spook factor, but one of my friends did. She picked up on a lot of different things, so give it a try if you're into spooky stuff. If you like that kind of thing, it is good fun. I've got basically the whole beach to myself. Woohoo! Get in! This is why I love Northumberland. Got the whole beach to myself again. Get in. Hi guys. Oh, that was an absolutely lush walk. I really enjoyed that. I love Warkworth Beach, and Alnmouth's just such a pretty place as well. I'm absolutely shattered now though, because I've done over 26,000 steps, so I'll definitely sleep well tonight. And honestly, I've bumped into so many people just walking past on the way, like loads of dog walkers. So if you're a doggy person, this is a really good walk to do because you get to meet loads of cute doggies. And everyone's been so friendly. I must have said hello about 50 times. Honestly, it was really nice. So I was late out this morning as usual. So if you're like me and you need to make the walk a little bit shorter, what you can do is you can just double back on yourself when you visited Church Hill and walk back along Warkworth Beach. And then once you get to Warkworth car park, you can just drive along and park up in Alnmouth instead. Because in hindsight, I probably should have done that because as you can see, it's getting dark. I mean, it is January and it's the late dark nights, and honestly, is anyone else totally January'd out? I definitely am. I've absolutely had enough of it. Bring on the spring and some lighter nights. And that's it. Me first canny little day trip of 2026 done and dusted, and I've got lots more to come. So I really hope you've enjoyed watching today, guys, and if you have, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next one. Take care for now, everyone. Tatty byes.